So we were talking about It's an Oaks About Christmas, which is a film that was intentionally trying to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to move on and transition to a film that I don't think was trying to be funny, but that comes across as unintentionally hilarious and sad at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And that is George Romero's latest zombie film, Survival of the Dead.
Yeah, and it's... and it's hard to do this, too, because, like, Romero, he made some of the best horror movies ever. These movies like, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Creep Show. They're going to live on forever. But movies like this, Uncle Bill, I was warned beforehand. I will say that. I mean, a lot of people were warning us about this.
You've been warned.
Yeah. It's sort of like a challenge to survival of the dead, I've noticed. I don't know. I mean, it's not out officially on DVD. We got an advanced screener because we're official horologists from the Kentucky Board of Horror. But, okay. What in the fuck can we say, though, like, as far as, like, okay, if a plot exists in this movie, it would be...
Well, the plot of it, as far as I can tell, and I've actually watched the film twice, because I watched it the first time and I was like...
make sure.
Yeah, I didn't want anybody to be able to come back and say, you didn't give the film a chance, or, you got to go back and watch it. I watched it twice, all the way through. The first time, I was like, my God, I can't believe this. This is some of the worst shit ever. The second time, I was like, holy shit, I'm finding more stuff in it that's even worse than the first time I watched it. So here's what I think is the plot. There's a group of soldiers left over like years after, I guess, even any of the stuff from Diary of the Dead takes place. It could be months, it could be years, I don't know. But I know the stuff in Diary of the Dead's already over with. And they're trying to find an island where there's no dead people, no zombies left.
So they're assuming that zombies can't swim.
I'm guessing that they're assuming that someplace there is like an island where you don't have to worry about zombies.
That zombies can't use boats.
Yeah, so which oddly enough, after you watch this movie, you probably could believe that zombies could drive boats. So, within the first 10 minutes of the movie, you're treated to some of the worst CG that you can even imagine. Mm-hmm. Like, I want you to think of the worst CG that you've ever seen Uwe Boll do, and it's worse in this movie. There's a scene where a guy gets bitten, and the side of his face gets bitten off, and it's all CG. It looks horrible. There's a scene where a guy gets his head blown off, and instead of, like in Dawn of the Dead, where they had the classic scene where the door gets kicked in, the guy gets a shotgun taken to the head, and it blows his head off. Everybody always remembers that scene. You've got the guy gets shot in the head. It's CG, and there's little like fucking CG eyeballs that go flying. And then his head,
top of his head collapses down to his neck.
It looks like something like a Microsoft slideshow.
Beyond the CG, which the CG is like, Sewer Shark from Sega CD, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just talk about the characters themselves in the movie. I guess
I don't know. I watched it twice. I don't know anything about the characters in the movie.
Well, I know that you've got the O'Flynn's, not the McDougalls. What do I think? Not McDougalls.
It's like the
Muldoons.
The
Muldoons and O'Flynn's.
Why they're Irish, I have no idea.
I guess they're like, what is the hillbilly couple that fights all the time?
The Hatfields and the
McCoys, who they've always hated each other, despised each other, and have different ways of disposing of zombies. Whereas the Muldoons believe in sparing the zombies and using them as slaves.
Right.
And the O'Flynn's, they believe in maiming and killing the zombies.
Yeah, that seems to be the main plot of the film. Like, there's one side that wants to treat the zombies this way. There's another side that wants to treat the zombies that way. They both hate each other. They've both been feuding for.
Well, also though, you got the army guy narrating the movie who was briefly in Diary of the Dead, which I'm sure nobody'd even fucking know if they didn't tell you.
Yeah, they actually do tell you.
Yeah, they do tell you. And motherfucker sounds like Bret the Hitman Hart doing the narration. Well, you know, here it was 3 years ago.
Well,
the
zombies came about. Okay, so the army guys, there's like a whole scene where everybody's on a ship, getting ready to go over to this island that's run by the guy.
Like a ship without a storm.
I guess it's which one is it? Is he the Muldoon or the O'Flanagan or the O'Flynn?
The O'Flynn.
O'Douls.
O'Flynn's is the white-haired man.
Yeah, he promises that this island that they run, there's zombies on it, are completely.
Zombies.
You don't have to worry about them and all this stuff. So they decide to go over to this island, and they're on the boat.
It's off the shore of Delaware.
While they're
That's like the only movie ever that was sort of based in Delaware.
It probably is. Yeah.
Delaware's a shitty little state. It is.
So there's the thing that's the most comical, and I couldn't figure out, is he really trying to be intentionally funny? Is the death scenes of the zombies? Which, by the way, you're never ever at any point in this film scared. Which is another thing that sucks about it, because the zombies are just
if any emotion,
bumbling fucking idiots in this movie that nobody cares about and are not threatening at all.
If any emotion comes out of this movie, is sheer fucking boredom.
It is.
I mean, and that's the sad thing. Like I don't give a fuck. You can call in on the show, try to defend this movie. There's no defense for it. Romero was coasting through this movie. There was nothing in this movie.
No.
I mean, there's nothing. There's no characters. It's so bad you don't remember any of the characters' names in the movie either.
It really looked like, to me, like a film that Uwe Boll would make. That's the impression that I got when I was watching. There's scenes in it where like a zombie gets shot with a flare gun, and like he gets shot in the stomach, and then like his head catches on fire and shit, and that's all CG and it looks horrible. There's a scene where a zombie gets a fire extinguisher thing like shoved into his mouth and then turned on, and like his eyeballs CG pop out and shit. Yeah. It's like a fucking Abbott and Costello routine with these damn zombies. Like nothing is taken seriously.
What can we do? It's the zombies.
Like you can't think, but the coup de grace comes later on in the film, and it's the moment where I think I really checked out on the film. Like, I was like, all right, that's fucking enough. That's it. Like, I watched the rest of it, but I was like, at that point I knew it wasn't going to get any better. It was only going to get worse. So they get to the island.
Did they ever call PETA about what happened?
I don't know.
You got zombies biting horses in this movie.
They get to the island, and like you said, that some of the guys are using them zombies for slaves, and some of them they're just shooting them. One of them has a zombie daughter that you are introduced to in the film. This is the guy that's running, I guess, this part of the island. You're introduced to in the film.
Zombie daughter!
Right as she is riding a horse.
You know what this movie missed, though? This has been great.
Any kind of credibility?
Well, that too. Sean Connery should have been in it. Here's one of the O'Flynns, he is. Anyway, also
I don't know how you felt about that, but when I saw a fucking zombie like riding a horse like she was in the Equestrian World Games, I was like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
No.
It really like disturbed me on a lot of levels that they would have a goddamn like.
Are you saying, sir, that zombies can't ride horses? Maybe it was a zombie horse.
I guess what I'm saying is from a guy that complained endlessly about zombies being able to run because, they can't run because they'll break their ankles, but they can ride fucking horseback.
That's right, sir.
And they can, like, chop wood and shit. It's like...
The next one, I've got it. They could call it Vindiction of the Dead. Zombies in this movie, sir, they masturbate. And they create baby zombies.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
Anyway, yeah. Another thing, though, it's disturbing to me, at least, and maybe it was the version I watched, but I doubt it. It's probably just crappy cinematography. The movie itself has a feel of, like, I said on Facebook, a Disney Channel original movie from like 1995. That was the way it looked. Like, it just looked like shit. The cinematography in it. And it doesn't help, too, that you have these completely over-the-top actors, which I'm guessing come from the fucking Great White North. Whatever.
Well, you had the actors were over the top, but you didn't really learn anything about them. You didn't have any reason to care about them at all. There's like an endless supply of them that ran in and out of the movie. That like the one guy that was the ranch hand or whatever that was working for the rival boss, who he was like, he's like an integral part of the movie, but he only has like about 5 minutes of screen time, so you don't give a shit about what happens to him at all, but he's like...
He's a fucking cocksucker, he is!
He changes sides in the movie, and you're like, you don't even care.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the big problem with this, is like all the characters are just horrible. Like, you don't really care. Like, and the lead two guys are just way too over the top. Like, especially the old Flynn guy, the gray-haired guy that's just... You're not going to come with me then! You're going to leave me here!
Yeah, there's a lot of Irishness in it.
Yeah. Man. It's like, I don't know. I think it's really disappointing. And Uncle Bill said that it made Diary of the Dead look like Dawn of the Dead, and it's really true. I mean, Diary of the Dead definitely had problems. It was not a good movie. We didn't like it. But what I said when I reviewed it is it's a movie that had potential. I mean, it had a few things been changed, a few actors been changed out. The CG, the fuckers that do the CG in these movies need to be shot in the fucking head for real.
Yeah, and maybe they could show that. That would be.
The story had potential. I think there's no potential with Survival of the Dead. There's nothing that could have potentially improved upon what we finally got.
I'm still trying to figure out if it was supposed to be a comedy or like a drama. I have no idea really. But another thing I noticed too that I would never expect from a Romero movie is the dialogue in the movie is fucking awful. Like, it's some of the worst writing. Like, I wish you had a clip of this scene. I can remember it verbatim because it's one of those scenes where I'm watching it and I actually had to rewind it because it was so horrible that I really couldn't believe I was actually hearing the shit, like, in a Romero movie. And that was, like, the scene where there's a young kid who's like an upstart and wants to be a military guy, and then there's like the older main guy who's the head of the military group. No, not him, the actual army guy, like the main army guy. And they're sitting there, and he goes, the main army guy is like talking to him about, the whole situation. He goes, small towns breed small minds. And then the young kid turns to the guy and he goes, you're not small though. Look, how big are you? You're about 6'2".
You're a big old feller.
Because you're about 6'2", aren't you? And
you're a big old boy.
Without missing a beat, that guy goes, no, I'm actually 6'1". It's like, what?
Yeah, I'm really just 6'1", kid.
That whole conversation just derailed, and that guy's completely oblivious. No, buddy.
I think, though, the bottom line is this, and people can, there's going to be people that like this movie. I don't know why. Maybe the fact they were in it. But there's going to be a small percentage of people that will defend this movie. But I'm telling you, here and now, there is no defense for this movie. No. I think another one it resembles, and I know people are going to fucking be mad, but fuck it. Creepshow 3, motherfuckers. It is that off base.
If you gave me a choice, if you were like, okay, you have to defend one of these movies. You have to defend either Diary of the Dead or Survival of the Dead. I would take Diary of the Dead 100 times over before I would try to defend Survival of the Dead. There's stuff I can find in Diary of the Dead to defend. There's nothing I can find in. I couldn't find anything about that movie that I could defend.
I mean, it's getting to the point, and I know Romero needs money. Maybe he's just doing these for money, quick buck, which is fine. I mean, if he's doing it for the money, he's not really putting his heart into it. Which it seems like to me. It definitely seems to be the case with me. I could be wrong. I doubt it. He's making movies that are on the level of the Doodlesons. They're just totally uninspired shit that is just thrown out there. There's nothing. You can tell that he just doesn't have it anymore to make
But the thing is, the
movies
weird
like he
thing
made in the
is,
past.
I
I mean,
really don't want the guy to quit. Like, I know a lot of people like want him to stop making movies. I just want him to find something worthy to make a movie about now. Like, I don't want him to quit. I just want him to like actually try, or I don't even know how to really express
whether or not it's a zombie movie or not. If he doesn't have his heart and soul into it, quit. Fucking quit. Don't, you know, you can do conventions and make way more money. You know, maybe it's a little harder, but to me, it tarnishes his career. These movies, you know, they're going vastly downhill, each one that he's making, which I don't know how one could get worse than fucking Survival of the Dead. But we were saying the same thing when we saw Diary of the Dead.
At this point, it'd have to be like a silent film or something.
Yeah.
Just like
and
made on somebody's...
The only people that I've seen that's defended this movie have been the absolute diehard loyalist Romero fans. And you all know how big of a fan Uncle Bill is of Romero. But I think that we can, even with John Carpenter and Toby Hooper and all those guys, when we see these movies, we see them for what they are. We don't see them for what those guys once were. You know, we see the films as what is out there now.
To be fair to the websites and stuff that cover this stuff, we don't have any affiliation with the director, nor do we have any affiliation with the movie itself. Like, we didn't get a set visit. We're not trying to kiss anybody's ass. Like, I don't have any, like, other than just judging the movie for what it is, I don't have any connection to the movie whatsoever. So you can take somebody else's word, you can take our word.
Survival of the Dead, uninspired drivel.
I can't even like begin to explain how much that movie's
it's
awful.
It's flat out horrible when it comes out. I'm not going to tell you not to buy it. You know, if you want to show your support for Romero, by any means, go ahead.
You have to see it.
But don't expect it to be good. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, if you like Romero, you're going to watch this movie regardless. I would watch this movie if Romero himself showed up at my house and was like, "Buddy, you don't need to watch that. That's shit." I'd still be like, "I got to watch it, George." I mean, I'm a huge fan. You know, I just had to watch it. And anybody that's a real Romero fan will watch it regardless of what anybody says anyway.
Yeah, make up your own opinions. I'm just willing to guess that your opinion will be much like ours. So
yeah, I'm almost willing to guarantee it.
That is it for the show this week. That's Survival of the Dead. I have no idea when the fucking thing's coming out, but we'll keep you posted, I'm guessing. It's already out in the UK. That's how we got a copy of it.
That's right.
Yeah, all the way from the UK. So anyway, until next week, I'm the Creepy Kentuckian.
I am Uncle Bill.
And you've been listening to the #1 rated horror talk radio show in the United States. It's DEADPIT.com. I'm just kidding. We're the #1 rated fucking show ever throughout the entire universe. Anyway. Oh, we already said it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. Fuck you.